Tinsley on.
Morning, Duke. How are you?
Doing well. How are you doing, Bill?
Oh, everything's fine. Looking forward to seeing everybody next week.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, we're still waiting for committee member Tinsley, but we can go ahead since we have a quorum of the committee. So with that, I'll turn it over to Chair Scott.
Thank you, everyone, and welcome to the telephonic Planning and Construction Committee meeting for Tuesday, November the 9th, 2021. The time is 11:01. Notice of this meeting was provided to the Secretary of State as required by Texas Government Code. Please note, the audio of this meeting is being broadcast live. Before we take a roll call, I'd like to remind everyone to mute their phones unless you need to speak. Laura, let's begin the roll call.
Okay, thank you, Chair Scott. Good morning, everyone. Let's start with Regent Scott.
Present.
Regent Austin.
Present.
And I believe we have Regent Tinsley now.
Yes.
Thank you. And we have Chairman Amato.
Yes.
Thank you. And do we have any other regents who've called in? Okay, thank you. I'll move on down to the staff now. Chancellor McCall.
Here.
Daniel Harper.
Here.
Peter Moss.
Here.
Do we have Donna Bryce on the call? Derek Alexander.
Here.
Nellie Herrera.
Here.
Sean Cunningham.
Here.
Pierce Mitchell.
Here.
Do we have Carol Fox?
Here.
Thank you. Sandy Pohl.
Here.
And do we have any other system staff who've called in? Thank you. I'll now move down to our institutions, starting with Lamar University.
Catherine Miller, Assistant Vice President of Planning and Construction.
Thank you, Catherine. Sam Houston. I see Carlos Hernandez, but can you unmute? *6 if you need that. We'll see. Is anyone else from Sam Houston on besides Mr. Hernandez? We'll give him a second. Moving on, Sol Ross.
Good morning. This is Pete Gallego. I think Bob Jacob is on the call for Sol Ross as well.
Okay, and do we have Jim Goodman?
Jim Goodman
okay,
here.
Jim Goodman as well. Thank you. All right, Texas State.
Denise Trouth here, along with Eric Algo and Lisa Lloyd.
Thank you, Dr. Trout. Next, Lamar Institute of Technology.
Lonnie Howard and Rudy Gonzalez.
Thank you. And I think, Carlos, I see you unmuted now. Are you there? From Sam Houston? Just muted. You muted again. Okay, he's there. All right, Lamar State College Orange. Dr. Johnson, I see your group on.
Wendy Elmore, Mary Wickland, and Tom Johnson.
Great, thank you. And finally, Lamar State College, Port Arthur.
Betty Renard and Mary Wickland.
Thank you. And did I miss anyone who's now on for roll call? Okay, thank you, Chair Scott.
Thank you, Laura. Daniel and I had an opportunity to review the agenda yesterday, and at this time, I'll turn the meeting over to Daniel, who will present the Planning and Construction Committee agenda items. Go ahead, Daniel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have 3 items today. One set of design documents, our quarterly report, and in addition to the current CIP. The first item is the Sam Houston State Design Development Documents for the Rec Sports renovation and expansion. This project consists of the renovation of the existing building and a 9,100 square foot addition. The addition will house basketball courts, and the renovation will include updates to the lobby, a new training and cardio rooms, and the conversion of 2 racquetball courts into multi-purpose rooms. The project budget is $9.5 million and is funded half out of cash reserves, and the other half will be debt that will be paid by student fees. The information following the motion includes the renderings, floor plans, design, and details on the estimated cost of the project. I believe Dr. White is traveling, and I'm not sure if Carlos is still having technical issues. If not, I'll open the floor to Dr. Hernandez to elaborate.
Carlos, we see you unmuted.
Laurie, you might repeat the *6. I had issues with it too. He may, if you mute your phone, you know.
Yeah, he just went back to mute and unmute, so I'm not sure.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I guess without comment from Sam Houston, we can move this item, or we can wait.
No, I think we move it to the. Do we need a vote on that to move it to the full board?
Yes, sir. So does the committee wish to refer this item to the full board?
Are there any objections? If there are no objections, without objection, we'll move this item to the full board. I will comment that I really look forward to seeing this when it's complete. I was impressed by the renderings and the facsimile pictures and what have you. It looks like it's going to be a great facility for the youngsters.
Yes, sir. So the next item is an informational item, and there's no vote on that item. It's the quarterly planning and construction report. And you'll see on the executive summary, which is on page 337, total construction activity is still around the $330 million, which is similar for many of the preceding quarters. And on page 339 begins the overview of all the projects above $1 million. And then following that is just short narrative summary of the status of each of those projects. And then, Mr. Chairman, as you and I spoke about yesterday, and as the chancellor's made the board aware, the legislature in the third call special session passed Senate Bill 52, which appropriated in excess of $400 million in debt authority for various TRB projects across the entire system. And we'll be working on those. I think in the next coming quarterly updates, you'll see a significant uptick in our construction activity throughout the system. And then with that, the last item is the consent agenda, and it is the addition to the current capital improvement program. Lamar University has 3 items they wish to add. $1.5 million for the renovation of Building 28 at Campbell Hall, $1.2 million for roof replacements at Cardinal Village, and $2.7 million for the renovation of the Cherry Engineering Building that will now house the Center for Resiliency, the Center for Port Management, and the Center on Midstream. And the last item to be added to the, proposed to be added to the CIP is for Texas State University. It's $6 million for the renovation of the administration building, to relocate the building entrance, renovations of the Human Resource Center, and renovations on the 11th floor to allow for catering opportunities. And Mr. Chairman, this concludes my presentation on the items, and I'll open the floor for any questions. And unless there's questions, does the committee wish to refer this item to the full board for consideration?
Are there any objections to moving this to the full board? Hearing no objection, we'll move the items to the full board. Thank you, everybody, for being on the call. Are there any questions or comments from any of the regents or the chair who are on the call? Hearing none, I thank you again for being here, and we'll adjourn the meeting at 11:11. And I look forward to seeing everyone next week, and be safe, and we'll see you then. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.